Okay. All right, Be'ezrat Hashem, we continue. Yeah, so we spoke about the Arba'a Yesodot, right? The four elements, which is earth, water, wind, and fire, and how each one is heavier than the other. So one floats on top of the other, right? So you have in the center, you have the earth, and then the water, right? On the earth, and then around it you have ruach, you have the wind, and on top of it you have the fire, which is a black. We explained that it's a black fire. It's not the fire that we're accustomed to, and it's thanks to that fire. The Ramban tells us that we have a space that is black, right? Because it's a substance. It's a something that's called esh. That's called esh. And another very important hidush, an element that the Ramban explained, is that these are not four elements that are just living separated. They are all intertwined together, right? So depending on the nature of the substance, the nature of the material, or even of an individual, right? You will have more solid or more fluid or more stable or unstable elements, depending on what is more dominant. Is it the earth that's more dominant, or is it the wind that's more dominant? Is it the fire, right? And depending on that, each element will have different properties, right? We say properties in chemistry. Yeah. So that is also the chidush of the Ramban. Yes.
That doesn't match with science, but
For sure it does. Why it doesn't?
Because he's talking about four elements. There's how many on the table of elements?
That's not what it means.
It's different.
That's all it means at all.
Okay, but you're very basic. You these four elements.
Yes, but you can have whatever that relevant.
What elements are in the shulchan?
You have both. You have all four of them, right? But the earth will be more because of the solid, right? You have for example, I give you an example. You have lithium. Lithium is very volatile, right? The lithium is very hard to take out of the ground. Why? Because as soon as you touch it, when it's liquid lithium, it evaporates. It loses its stability and its properties. Its properties, right? So something that's very volatile is the fire. Okay. Now something that's very liquidy will be water. Something that's very, very rough and very tough to break, okay, is earth. Okay. So depending on the combination and the dominance of that combination, it will give different material, different properties, physical properties. That's the Ramban. Okay. The Ramban and across not only the Ramban, everybody says that. A man also, by the way, a person also has those properties, right? We saw this morning. Yeah. For example, Esav, right? His yesod is fire. Okay, and because he's fire, he's going to be a very emotional, angry, reactive person. Where Yaakov Avinu is more water, more stable in equilibrium. So by people also you have the same thing. Somebody that's very evasive and very it's the wind, yeah. So to each individual, depending on their mizug, the mezeg of their temperament, they will have different types of personality. Okay. So that's in a nutshell what we discussed at the end of last week's shiur.
Which what is it? Right here?
Yeah.
Which starts?
Yeah. Okay.
בעבדים. תזכר, דף יסוד מילה בראשית. בראשית.
No, we did ויהי אור. Yes. וירא אלוהים את האור כי טוב. ויהי אור, we discussed it, and it was spoke about the yamim and the sfirot. So this we've addressed. So we're starting pasuk dalet.
Okay. 31?
Yeah.
32. Give the summary of the video just for.
That's a complicated one.
Everything you say is complicated.
Okay, we can go back to.
Just give me
Okay,
the-
there's no. Okay. Vayomer Elohim yehi or, and God said it should be light. Milat amira, the word to say. Vayomer vekan lehorot ala chefetz, right? It's coming to explain that the will of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. When he says Vayomer, when he says, that means he wills. Right? We saw this. וכן ותהי אישה לבן אדונך כאשר דיבר השם, כאשר חפץ השם, כאשר רצה, right? כי כן הוא הרצון לפניו. So every time you will see the word Vayomer, it means Hashem willed something, right? It's not just a simple amira. Or also, it means כגון מחשבה, a thought. When we spoke about the keter and the chokhmah, that's what I'm saying. It was actually very deep. But כמו האומרה בלבבה, ואמרו אלופי יהודה בליבם, they said, they thought, והעניין לומר שלא היה בעמל. Okay, the point is, whether it's a מחשבה or it's a will, whether it's a thought or a will, it's clear that there was no efforts, right? Whether you will something and you think about something, it doesn't.
What effort? Physical effort.
Any effort, there's no effort. It was not with any effort. וכך קראו רבותינו לזה מחשבה. And that's what they called it, מחשבה. אמרו מחשבה ביום, המעשה אם דמדו מחמה, והוא להורות על דבר מחושב. Right? So it's not only just a מחשבה that is a thought that's superficial. When he means מחשבה, meaning he went all the way, he thought about everything until the end and all the possible versions and differences and all the different possibilities, okay, that thought could have. That's the mahshava. So it's not just a thought, right? And by thinking about all these possibilities and all these versions and all these possibilities, he brought them to reality, right? That became the reality of the Vayomer, of the mahshava.
But what do you mean all the possibilities? Possibilities, different options.
What?
Possibilities are different options. What do you mean?
No, the versions of the light, of the light. Every time he says Vayomer of something, right?
We found the Wi-Fi. Thank you.
Thank you. You know, when he says Vayomer of well, or is a little bit more mufshat, but the asabim or the perot or the trees, yeah. So all the everything a tree can do from today and from the moment it was created until the end of creation, all its versions is the evolution, etc., of every single tree and every possibilities was thought during this Vayomer, during the Machshava. That's what it means. והוא להורות על דבר מחושב שיש בו טעם. It's not just a will or an interest, right? So there's to it a will, but there's also to it a deep thought process. ומילת הוויה מורה על מעשה הזמן העומד, right? When it says can yehi, it's for an action that will stick and hold the will. It's not just it's here, but it's momentarily. It's here. It became a reality. You should be a king to them, right? And ולכן אמר הכתוב כי כשברא חומר השמיים אמר שיהיה מן החומר ההוא דבר מזהיר כראור, right? So he took the hiyuli, and from the hiyuli he decided that he's going to make what is called or, something that's zoher, something that's shining כראור, and he called it or. Okay, HaKadosh Baruch Hu called it or. Okay. Vayhi or. Lo amar vayhi chen. Why didn't he say like the rest of the psukim and it was? He says yehi or. He says it was and the light was. לפי שלא עמד האור בתכונה הזאת כל הימים. Because vayhi chen and it was, meaning what? It is forever. But that light eventually will not stay for long.
It's the light that went away.
Yes, that we're gonna see soon. Right. So because Hashem will take it away, right? So he doesn't. The Torah didn't say vayhichen. ויש לרבותינו בזה מדרש וסוד נעלם, and the Chachamim have a very deep midrash to it. ודע, כי הימים הנזכרים במעשה בראשית, and that's where we lost Zach.
I'm sorry, but wait. You just went through.
No, he doesn't address. Yeah, the midrash. He doesn't address this.
Well,
he doesn't address it.
But you are the teacher.
He doesn't address. If he says it's sod ne'elam, it's a secret that is hidden. Trust me, he's not gonna. If he doesn't address it, we don't address it. The days that we're talking, right, in the creation, it's real days. With hours and minutes and seconds. And we will talk about 6 days. We talk about a real 6 days, not 1,000 years or 1,000,000 years that was like considered like a day. No, really it's real days. It's real days. And in the Kabbalistic aspect to it, Yamim are called the Sfirot. We know what the Sfirot is. We've addressed it, right? It's the revelation of the Sfirot. What does it mean? That there was the Mohin, we expressed that, Chokhmah, Bina, Da'at. These were the Sfirot that were held, okay, by HaKadosh Baruch Hu from, or before even Maasei Bereshit, or Bereshit bara Elokim, like we said. After that, every day another Sfirah was created. So on Yom Rishon, the Sfirat HaChesed was created, right? It came down, crystallized itself, and stood. And then the Yom Sheni, the Sfira of Gvura. On Yom Shlishi, the Sfira of Tiferet, Netzach Hod Yesod, until Malchut. There was 7 Sfirot that will be created every single day.
And that is, sorry, does that have anything to do with what physically was created or no? The 2 different things.
No, he does. He does. והיו 6 כי להשם הגדולה והגבורה, right? So if you look at the different ספירות, to Hashem is the גדולה, which is the חסד, גבורה, תפארת, נס, הוד, יסוד, מלכות. והמאמרים 10, but yet we have the word was created with 10 מאמרים, with 10 ויאמר, which is really 9 plus the word בראשית, כי הראשונות אין שם יום נתפס בהם, והפירוש בסידור הכתובים, בזה נשגב ונעלם, ודעתנו בו פחות מטיפה מן הים הגדול. Okay, there's 10 מאמרים, והראשונות, meaning the כתר חוכמה בינה, right? אין שם יום נתפס בהם. There were not days. We cannot say that it was days. Why? Because they're mohin, and the mohim are always hidden. What do you see? You see the action, you see the chasadim, chesed you see, gvura you see, but chokhmah bina, they're hidden, right? They're within the person. Very interesting. This we understand, yeah? The will, the thought, the analysis, you cannot identify. Everything goes inside the brain of the person. You cannot point your finger at it. This is the chokhmah, this is the bina. For that reason, there's no yom, because yom is a creation that's been identified and that can be pointed. Chesed, you can point it. Gvura, you can point it. Tiferet, Netzach Yesod, Netzach Hod Yesod, all this you can point. So all these were granted the name, the word Yamim or Yom, right, by the Chachmei HaKabbalah. The Keter, the Chokhmah, and the Bina, because they're not identifiable, and they were not created, right? They were always there. The revelation of the rest of the Sfirot are actually crystallized themselves to become a Sfirah. The first one, the Keter, Chokhmah, and Bina, were hidden, right, and will be used in Maasei Bereshit, in the word Bereshit bara, which we know we spoke about the Keter, the Chokhmah, and eventually and the Malchut. Okay, that's why also in the Malchut there's no Briat of Yom. Okay, for all the other ones, the 6 days where you're going to have 6 times the word Yom Rishon, Yom Sheni, all of them will have a specific sphera, a specific creation of a sphera. So he says, why don't we, but we have 10 of them. How come we only have 6? Right? Because the first 3, they're mohin, right? And the fourth one, which is the 10th one, sorry, which is the malchut, was also in the Bereshit, according to the Rambam.
So all 4 are in the Bereshit.
In the Bereshit, right? In the Bereshit.
You understand that?
Yeah,
Can you re-explain that if you had to?
I think he can. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I'm just asking.
Of the Sefirot, in the term Bereshit bara, you had 4 of the Sefirot were created.
Yeah.
This is not.
That's easy.
We've learned this.
I understand.
You have to do hazara.
That doesn't mean that we learned this, that you can re-explain.
I did. I just did.
You did.
What? Tell me.
No, come from the cover.
Hey. The cots of the bet is the keter.
Yeah, I understand.
Right? Is the ensof. It's the ensof. Right? Is the ephes. The bet is the keter. Reshit is the chokhmah. Bara is the bina. Right?
Okay.
With all and in the reshit you also have the malchut. Like remember the bikurim and the chala, etc. Sorry, I'm throwing words that you might not even understand what I'm saying, but we spent hours on it, right? So since all these were already there, and why they're not called yom, because again, all these are not essences that you can actually identify and point. They're all hidden.
Sorry, didn't we say in that vein that the Bereshit, was actually, we talked about that was in essence the pre-creation, no? We had that whole issue with what no?
Okay.
So doesn't that?
But there's no yom.
That's what I'm saying. If it's before the creation, there's no yom there.
That's what he's saying. Yeah. That's exactly what he's saying.
I said that. He didn't say.
טוב, וירא אלוהים את האור כי טוב. You should write a book. כתב רש"י. כתב רש"י. אוקיי, וירא אלוהים את האור כי טוב, השם saw the light was good. כתב רש"י, אף בזה אנו צריכים לדברי אגדה. Even in this pasuk, we need to use the Haggadah, meaning it's hard to understand the real pshat of that pasuk. For many reasons. Because Vayar, Ra'a, what does it mean, Ra'a?
He saw.
What does that mean? He understood. Vayar, he saw. That means he saw something
that he didn't know before. Impossible.
How can that be with for HaKadosh Baruch? So that's the question of the Rambam, of Rashi. Rashi is like, so he has a problem with the terminology Vayar. So because it's a problem and it cannot be explained in its pashtut, so it says Rashi, we need an agada to it. We need right. נגדה. ראה שאינו כדאי להשתמש בו רשעים. So what's that? Hashem saw that this light is dangerous for the רשעים to use. והבדילו לצדיקים לעתיד לבוא. So he differentiated it, right? He put it and aside for who? For the tzadikim לעתיד לבוא. So that the רשעים don't have access to the power of that light. ולפי פשוטו, and if we have to give a pshat anyways, ראה כי טוב, he saw that it was actually good, ואין נאה ולחושר להשתמש בערבוביה, and the light and the darkness cannot be used together in a mix, whatever that means. וקבע לזה תחומו ביום ולזה תחומו בלילה, he separated them, and he gave it's a space, okay, for the day, for the light, and he gave a space for the darkness. So he separated the irbuvia, the mix.
Rashi explains that it's not. He has two explanations, right? One that it's for the tzaddikim, and one is it.
That's Rashi. Until now,
he has two simply.
These are the two. Until now, we only have said Rashi.
But it still doesn't solve the question of the Ramban. how he says that vayar, but even in
it's
even
not-
in the Rashi
it's
explanation,
not-
it's vayar.
no, so מה זה וירא? So ראה שאינו כדאי, it's not that he saw, he ראה ממש. Okay, he thought that he said, you know what? It's good for the tzaddikim, but it's not good for the Rishaim, Baruch haba. So he made a decision. So now it's not about the actual or, it's about the ishtamshut of the or, like the use of the or. So the or is good, and it is what it is. The actual, listen, the actual creation is good, but the use of the creation, that's what he decided, that it should be only used by the tzaddikim and not the Rishayim.
That's but ראה שאינו, but it's still the same idea that he figured it out.
Not that he figured it. Yeah, I thought, wait, yes. 1 second. Listen. That's we're saying Rashi. Okay. Rabbi Avraham Amar. You're right. The Ramban has problems with all these pshatim. The Rabbi Avraham Amar, right? The Ibn Ezra says, "Vayar kemo v'rayiti ani ve'im b'machshevet alev." He thought, he felt, right? Vayar, it means he felt. V'tam vayavdel. Okay. And what does it mean vayavdel? ויבדל אלוהים בין האור ובין החושך, at the end of this pasuk. בקריאת השמות, he just he differentiated them with a title, right? ואין דברי שניהם נכונים. Right? Comes the Ramban, and he says, I disagree with Rashi, and I disagree with the Ibn Ezra. שאם כן,
they're all נכונים, אחי.
We're going to do it every time, please.
No, but
please.
it's the first time he says that.
Okay. שאם כן ייראה כעניין ההמלכה ועצה חדשה. Because now it sounds like what? Like he went back on his creation, right? He thought of something and he said, you know what? It's not so great. Let me fix it. שיאמר כי אחרי שאמר אלוהים יהי אור והיה אור, because after he said יהי אור and there was אור, ראה אותו כי טוב הוא, he saw that it was good, ולכן הבדיל בינו ובין החושך. כעניין שבאדם שלא ידע בטבעו דבר עד היותו, it's like as if he didn't know how, like what was how great it was until the end, right? And it's very difficult to say that about HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Isn't this meant for us? I mean, this whole thing that we're doing is.
You can approach it like this, but according to the Ramban, that is coming to say that we're giving a pirush on the Torah itself, right? And the actual creation, it's very hard to explain and understand for us to think. It's even dangerous for us to think that Hashem changed his mind along the way, or he missed, a little bit on the mark. He thought that it was great, but he didn't write it was that great. Suddenly realized it's so great. You know what? It's such a great creation. I didn't know I didn't think I'm such a good and talented, artist. So you know what? Instead of giving it for everybody, let me just put it aside and I'll show you. Huh?
It says for the good people and the bad people.
Yeah.
Separate lights.
Yes.
Separate lights.
Not separate lights. No, not separate lights. You mean that he held the light and he kept it only for the tzaddikim when Mashiach comes, so that the Reshaim cannot have access and use that light. And the Ramban has a problem with that. And I hear that. Yeah, because really, like Michael asked, you think that, okay, so Hashem doesn't know what he's doing, really.
But can I ask a question on the Rashi with what he says here? If it's this to have a whole other problem with the Rashi as well. If it says Ve'etov Kitov, right? Right? So in that sense, it says that the Choshech is bad. Yeah? If you take Rashi's explanation.
Why?
Because he says here, if you look at Rashi's second explanation.
Yeah. If you
okay, לפי פשוטו, ראה כי טוב, ונאה לו להשתמש באור.
That's for the or. That's the
right.
Yes.
So he says, if this is good, it's not good to mix it.
Not because the other one is bad, because this is great. Not because the other one is bad. He saw that the light is good. Okay, what does it mean? It's good. It's better. But he doesn't say that the Choshech is bad. He doesn't say that. You assume that.
And then you explain to us why we say Yotzer over Choshech, but you can explain that later.
אבל הסדר, he has the answer. אבל הסדר במעשה בראשית, אבל הסדר במעשה בראשית כי הוצאת הדברים אל הפועל ייקרא אמירה. Right? אבל הסדר, now the Ramban is giving us his own, right, his pirush. במעשה בראשית, the sequence, the method, right, of מעשה בראשית, of the creation, כי הוצאת הדברים אל הפועל, when you take a potential and bring it to reality, 33. We're in 33, you're in 35.
Oh, I went to the next page.
ייקרא אמירה, is called אמירה, a saying. ויאמר אלוהים יהי אור, Hashem said there will be light, ויאמר יהי רקיע, there should be רקיע, ויאמר תדשא הארץ, right, the earth should grow grass, וקיומם ייקרא, so the אמירה is a will that becomes a reality. וקיומם, and how it stays like this forever, ייקרא ראייה. It's called Re'iyah. So when Vayar Hashem Kitov, when the Torah says that he saw, that means that he saw that this can be for good. These laws of nature can, right, can withhold forever. Kenyan Vera'iti Ani in the word in the Sefer of Kohelet. I agreed to. V'chen vatere ha'isha ki tova es lema'achal. Right? She accepted, she agreed that this was good, that the tree of knowledge was good. Vehu ka'inyan she'amru, and it's like what Chachamim says, ro'eh ani et divrei admon. I see, meaning I accept. I see what you're saying. You know, when so you talk to somebody, it's like, you know what, I see what you're saying. Meaning you're accepting what he's saying.
But why does Hashem have to accept his own creation?
To turn it into something that stays forever, not just a creation that is there and it can be a moment in the creation, but he turned it, he willed it, realized it, and said, this is how this is going to be for good. וכמוהו ויאמר המלך אל צדוק הכהן, ויאמר כן צדוק הכהן, הרואה אתה, do you agree? שובה העיר בשלום, come back בשלום. והעניין להורות, and the subject, I know where you're going. כי עמידתם בחפצו, you're right. You're right. There's a difference. We'll get there. והעניין חזק וברוך. והעניין, no, forget. והעניין להורות, I don't want to confuse it. והעניין להורות כי עמידתם בחפצו. So what does that mean when it says, כן, וירא, להעמידם בחפצו. ואם החפץ יתפרט, רגע מהם יהיו לעין, right? So, meaning like this, I want this to be, and I want these laws of nature, of creation, I want it to be, and it has to be like that. What does that mean? As long as I want it to be, it is. The moment I stop wanting it to be,
Stops.
it disappears. It disappears. And that's what it means, ראייה. Okay? וכאשר אמר בכל מעשה יום ויום, like it says in every creation every day, וירא אלוקים כי טוב, Hashem saw that it was good. ובשישי, on יום שישי, כאשר נשלם הכל, when everything is completed, וירא אלוקים את כל אשר עשה, והנה טוב מאוד. You see that everything that he did, and it is very good.
So on the day that he didn't say it was good, it wasn't good?
On Yom Rishon, Yom Sheni.
Wasn't good?
What do you mean?
He didn't finish the Briat
No,
of Shlishi.
correct. It was a process that actually ended Yom Shlishi. You're right.
Well, then all nighter.
And on Yom Rishon, he never said the.
Yom Rishon, yes, yes.
So you look.
So
Yom Rishon, yes.
Well, the question is why it says Vayar Kito. What does he need to see? Well, he doesn't know that it's good. What does it mean bad?
No, the Vayar,
the question.
that's no.
It doesn't say Kitov on Monday. It wasn't good?
No, it
He
wasn't
didn't get to
complete. Correct. You're right. There was something incomplete there. There was something incomplete.
was incomplete creation on Monday, 1 to Tuesday.
No, but he's right. There was a problem on Monday. We're going to get to that.
What's
We're gonna-
that?
but he's not addressing the Kitov right now. He's addressing the Vayar.
Okay, but okay.
כן אמר ביום הראשון בהיות האור וירא אלוקים כי טוב שרצה בקיומו לעד. So that's what it means, וירא. וירא, he saw that it's good, meaning that the fact that it's good, he saw, because it's good, he saw. וירא כי טוב, because it was good, he saw. What does it mean he saw? He made it so that it can last forever. He installed through the recitation of Maasei Bereshit what we call the laws of nature. Those laws we don't break. That law, nature has its laws, right? So all these laws were installed in the word vayar. Every time there is the word vayar.
But so, okay, so if that's the case, why did it say Tov Mod on the last day? Why did he?
That's a different question. Because there was a creation on the meod. The word meod is a
Creation of.
there's another creation in Tov Meod. Tov ze Yetzirah Tov, Meod ze Yetzirah Ra. In the Meod, there was an addition there.
But the
We're gonna
Yetzirah
get there.
was not created until when?
At that point, ביום שישי. והיה שם, והנה טוב מאוד, טוב זה יצר הטוב, טוב מאוד זה יצר הרע. But we'll get there. We'll get there. Right now, he's addressing the word vayar.
Adam Rishon had Yetzirah, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, that's
והוסיף בכאן את האור, right?
verse, okay, 34.
שאילו אמר וירא, right, so he says, what does it mean, וירא אלוהים את האור כי טוב? He could have said, וירא אלוהים כי טוב.
Like everywhere else, yeah.
No.
Everywhere else it says Vayik.
No,
Right,
that's not what he's referring to. He's saying, וירא אלוקים, ויאמר אלוקים יהי אור, ויהי אור.
Yeah.
Not ויהי חן, that's what you're referring to. ויהי חן. He said, ויהי אור. וירא אלוהים כי טוב, right? Right? Why do we have את האור?
That's what I'm saying. Normally it should say Vayik Kitov, not
Correct. So he says, שאילו אמר סתם, וירא אלוקים כי טוב, if he would have said only וירא אלוקים כי טוב, היה חוזר על בריאת השמיים והארץ. It means that וירא אלוקים כי טוב, you would have thought that it's referring to שמיים והארץ, not to the actual or. Because now it's וירא אלוקים כי טוב on everything that has happened until now, right? If you look at the psukim until now, it doesn't say וירא. Okay? Look at בראשים ברא אלוקים את השמיים ואת הארץ, והארץ הייתה תוהו ובוהו וחושך על פני הים ורוח אלוהים מרחפת על פני המים. Okay? ויאמר אלוהים יהי אור, ויהי אור, וירא אלוקים כי טוב. So you would think that וירא אלוקים כי טוב, right? Do you see that וירא אלוקים כי טוב?
I want you to go get a new bottle. That doesn't matter.
Oh, awesome.
Okay. You can leave that here. And you can just grab a new bottle. Thank you, Admin.
So וירא אלוקים כי טוב is you would think that it's the re'iyah is on everything that has happened, right?
Why wouldn't it be?
Because it says וירא אלוהים את האור כי טוב. So when it tells you וירא אלוקים את האור, so it's specific to the or.
But then you have
1 second. Piano.
You're explain something, okay? So, but what about all the stuff before? If the Vayar Elohim Kitov, it means that he sealed that it's going to stay forever. Then the stuff before he didn't seal, and he didn't.
ולא גזר, listen, let the Ramban speak. You're right. ולא גזר בהן עדיין הקיום. There's still no קיום on page 34. Second, okay. והוסיף כאן את האור, he added the word האור, שאילו אמר סתם וירא אלוקים כי טוב, because if he would have said וירא אלוקים כי טוב, היה חוזר על בריאת השמיים והארץ, ולא גזר בהם עדיין קיום. There was no קיום yet. It's not finished. So if it's not finished, it's not health. No, not existent. It's not complete where it can last like that forever. That's the קיום. It's still in process. So if you say Vayar Elokim Kitov, that means these were finished, but they're not finished yet. Ki lo amdu kacha, because we know that the 4 elements, right? The way we know it until now, it's not saying like this. It will still evolve. So if it still evolves, you cannot say Vayar. אבל מן החומר הנברא בראשון נעשה בשני רקיע. Because we know, we're going to see, that how is the rakia made? From the hiuli of Shamayim. right? So there is still an ongoing process with these elements. So you cannot say Vayar.
Only you could say it if it's complete.
Correct. Correct. Vayar means this is good, this is complete, it will last like this forever.
So what does the kitov mean? If Vayar means
He's not addressing the kitov yet.
okay.
ובשלישי נפרדו המים והעפר ונעשית היבשה שקראה ארץ, right? ואז גזר בהם הקיום, and then he will make a then he will say Vayar on everything at its proper time that is complete, when the water will be complete, when the eretz will be complete, when the rakia will be complete, right? So to each of these elements and this erbuvia, right, this mix that we have right now, when it comes to the fruition and the end of its creation, the way Hashem wanted it, he will say Vayar. ואמר בהם Vayar Elokim ki tov, and then he says Vayar Elokim ki tov. Okay. ויבדל אלוקים בין האור ובין החושך.
Wait, time out. What would he say if it's not Vayar? What would he say?
Nothing.
Nothing.
But it's not complete. If it's not complete, it doesn't say nothing. He said Vayomer. Vayomer is the transition from the will to a realization, right? When you want to crystallize that realization for good, Vayar, right? ויבדל אלוהים בין האור ובין החושך. He separated from the light and from the darkness. איננו החושך הנזכר בפסוק הראשון. Now we're not talking anymore about the choshech, which is the black fire. Okay? The choshech al pnei tehom. That was black fire. It's an essence, right? It's an essence. In this case, ויבדל אלוהים בין האור ובין החושך. It's a different choshech. What does it mean? שהוא the first one, איננו החושך שנזכר בפסוק שהוא האש, אבל הוא אפיסת האור. Now this choshech is the lack of light.
That's what we know today as choshech.
Correct. כי נתן אלוהים מידה לאור, it gave a measure to the light, ושיהיה נעדר אחר כן עד שובו, right? And now when the or when it leaves, right? There has to be something. And what is that called? The emptiness of light. It's called choshech, it's called darkness. And darkness exists until when? At shuvo, until the light comes again. So we see here that there is a creation that's called the darkness that we know. But it's a darkness that's created from the absence of the light.
So is it really a creation? Or is
Yes, it's a creation. It's a creation. It's a creation that came from the light. From the light, from the absence, there was the light. And because there's the light, now there could be absence of the light. And when he created the absence of the light, right? That's when he created that type of choshech. ואמרו קצת המפרשים. Now he has a technical problem. Because what does that mean?
only one?
That means that he created light, right? And then he separated the light from some types of space, and the darkness was created, right?
Yeah.
So in a cycle, that's a day. If you have day and night, that's a day.
Yeah.
So that means there's one day, there's a mini day that was created along the way. So we don't have 7 days, we really have 8 days.
That's a little far-fetched. No,
Why?
Repeat that one?
Because it doesn't have to be. You're assuming, sorry, okay. He's saying that because he separated the light from the
No, you-
darkness, it's like you had day and then you had night, basically. So it's a creation of day, another day. But that's you assume.
Now what?
But he didn't yet say that there's a day. He didn't create yet the day and the night, right? The meorot and all that stuff.
So what are you saying?
What I'm saying is that there was no concept of a day by that point. No?
Okay, maybe, but maybe that's okay. We'll see. ואמרו קצת המפרשים, כי האור, some of the מפרשים want to say, כי האור הזה נברא לפניו של הקדוש ברוך הוא. That day was created in front of הקדוש ברוך הוא, meaning in the מערב, כאילו במערב, right? ושיקרו, and then he was משקיע, he made the light go, he dimmed it, right? Miyad kedei midat laila, for the darkness, for the laila. ואחרי כן, העיר כמידת היום, and then the day came, the proper day came. וזה טעם ויהי ערב ויהי בוקר. That's why it says ויהי ערב ויהי בוקר, right? So he created the light, then put the light aside, then he had the night, and then he brought back the light, okay, as a seder. So you have the creation of the light is put aside, then you have the night, and then after the night, when the night is finished, he brings back the light. So, right, okay.
Well, the
So,
question-
so 1 second. So, but what? So, how did the night was created? It was day. It was light.
But over here, it's
He
like,
deemed it. What?
but over here it says like first there was night. So,
So that's what he has. That's what he's
Why the
explaining.
first night, not first
No,
day?
that's
Why
what-
you
that-
go
no,
back?
because the rabbi just said that darkness was created from the day,
It was.
but there was night first.
So he
Yeah.
explains that. So he explains that. He said he created light, not day. He created light. Okay. Then he took the light and dimmed it for darkness for the night to come. Right. Once the night was there, then he put the light, right, connected with the night, and then after the night, the day came in. That's what it means by Yerev, by Boker.
Well, there's an easier explanation. Otherwise, it's so complicated.
That's what he's saying.
No, if you go to the Rashi, Rashi says, wait, patience.
No,
Have some. You want some more?
you didn't bring the bottle. You brought the old one.
This one.
Exactly. That's why I'm scared. No, Mapito.
Old whiskey's better. Old whiskey's better, Rabbi.
Yeah, he wants.
No one knew.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Look at what the Rashi said.
Yeah.
Jokes aside,
Yeah.
The crafted bottles.
Yeah.
what the Rashi says, but that it was a mix, right?
Yes.
And separation.
Yes.
So the light, the original.
No, the first mix, what do you mean?
It says the Fried the Choshech ve'etor, right? That there was a mix. It
Yes,
says here, right?
yes,
What is-
yes, yes.
So that couldn't have been the day because it was a mix of both of them, right? Then there's a separation.
Yes.
So
But you have to explain what that separation means. So he says the Mefar. So the Mefarshim explain.
Yeah.
The Mefarshim explain to you. What does it mean that mix?
Yeah.
What does it mean? It means that Hashem created the light, and he dimmed the light, right, to give now room to the dark. Okay, and now there was a separation between the light and the dark, right? And after there was darkness, he allowed at the end of the night for the light to kick in again. So that's why it's Vayerev, Vayiboker. First, he separated the light from the dark, and once
Yeah.
he separated the light from the dark, now there was the darkness that was full. And once the darkness was full and completed, he brought back the light, as I said there, and that's what it means by Yerev, Vayi Boker. ועוד ייתכן שנאמר, ועוד ייתכן שנאמר, and it's possible to say, כי משיצאו השמיים והארץ מן האפס אל היש, הנזכר בפסוק הראשון, רק שנייה, no, I jumped from somewhere, no? No, sorry, yes, sorry, אוקיי, מחילה, ואמרה קצת המפרשים, אז skip it, כי האור הזה נברא לפניו של הקדוש ברוך הוא כאילו במערב ושיקעו מיד כדי מידת לילה, אוקיי? ואחרי כן העיר כמידת יום, וזה טעם בערב ויהי בוקר, right? שקודם היה לילה ואחר כך יום, ושניהם אחרי הוויית האור, right? So you have Havaya, you have the creation of the day, then he takes the day and dims it to create the night, right? So now you have light and you have darkness of the night. Once they are both here and the night is already there, right? So in order to create the full cycle, he takes back the day and plugs it at the end of the night. So that's why here, you understand? There's the creation and then the seder of the seder of the Galgal. Right. He says, "Ve'enenu nachon klal."
Why didn't he create them? Why didn't he create them set already?
What does that mean?
Or why do they have to do it?
Oh, why? Hakadosh Baruch Hu, why he created like this? No, ask him.
Shortcut, but wait,
So he said, yes.
but that's a great thing. He says, "Ve'eno nachon klal." He says,
He says,
"They're all
"Ve'eno-"
nonsense.
No, it doesn't say it's nonsense. He says it's not accurate. כי יוסיפו על ששת ימי בראשית יום קצר.
Oh, he says it's 6.5 days.
It says because what happens? Because if it's true that you had the light and you dimmed the light to allow darkness to come, that in itself is a day. It's a short day, but it's a day. So if that's the case, you don't read the world was created in more than 6 days. So it says that sequence of events cannot be. So then what is Vayavdel? אבל ייתכן שנאמר, so what we can say, כי האור נברא לפניו יתברך. The light was created before הקדוש ברוך הוא, ולא נתפשט ביסודות הנזכרים. And it was just light. It didn't shine. It was just a creation that didn't shine or that was not applied on nothing else. והבדיל בינו ובין החושך שנתן לשניהם מידה. Right? And then he separated it, right? From what?
Each other.
From the Choshech. And he gave to each separately a midah, a portion, right? ועמד לפניו כמידת לילה. And now there was light and there was Choshech, and he gave them to each a certain portion. What does it mean? He gave it to each 12 hours. Okay, so he created the light, gave it 12 hours. He created the darkness, gave it 12 hours. And now they are both up and standing. ואחר כך הזריח אותו על היסודות. And then he shined it upon the יסודות, והנה קדם הערב לבוקר.
That's why I said to you before, but there's a question here that does. Why did he have to? Why did it have to be created and then separated? And this even is more, because if it's each really was for itself, then why is it Vayivra or Vayivra Choshech? Then why is it the separation?
What do you mean? Was the separation? What does
Here,
that mean?
this even more supports what you were saying about
Yeah, why
that.
didn't he do it?
Why did you have to create the Or and the Choshech together, then separate them?
He didn't create them together. He created the light.
Okay, but the Choshech was within the light.
The Choshech by default,
You said
is-
he created Choshech.
yes, exactly. He first created the light. He said, Vayomer Elohim yehi or. It doesn't say Vayehi or vechoshech. Right? So what does he create?
Light,
He created the light.
not
Okay?
the light that we know, or the light that.
Now, this is a different light.
Different.
Okay? Now, Vayar Elohim et haor kitov. Okay? So he sees that this light is a good light. Okay?
No, but then, no, he says that it's now forever. Vayar is
Yes,
forever.
yes,
Okay.
that's
Vayar.
Vayar Elohim et haor kitov.
Yeah, you just said Vayar is
He's Mekayem, he's Mekayem,
forever.
Ken, he's Mekayem no, but not the first line, just the light, not
Our
the,
light.
Ken.
Our light is forever.
1 second.
Yeah.
That's the Kiddushim line. Right? That's not.
Vayomer
That's
Elohim,
forgiven.
okay, right,
forgiven.
again.
Okay. Avi, help me out. Veyo. That which one? That's the O again. Ganus, right? That's the O that we don't see. Yeah?
Vayomer Elohim yehi or, vayhi or, that's the or, that's not vayhichen, right? That's the or that will not last.
Right.
עכשיו, וירא אלוהים את האור,
Yeah.
וירא אלוהים את האור כי טוב.
That's the stamp of,
It stamps of approval, okay?
of which O?
ויבדל
The original.
אלוהים בין האור ובין החושך, right? Now what does he do? He's the way the Ramban says, right? He will create what is called the choshech. How is he creating the choshech? By taking the or
Separate.
and separate and taking it away from the space where it was. Right? So there was a space where you had light. He took that light away from that space, and now the emptiness of light, the lack of light, gave place to the creation of the choshech.
But this is not the same O. This is a different O. This is our O.
Also, Also,
What do you mean also?
also. It's both. But put that question aside for a second.
Okay.
Okay?
But then there's another problem with the sentence. But if you're saying what you're saying is accurate.
Finish saying what
Hey,
I'm
wait.
saying for you to ask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that then it doesn't in the Hebrew.
Mhm.
He separated בין האור ובין החושך. לא את האור מהחושך או את החושך מהאור. בין האור ובין החושך, he took, it's two separate things.
That's exactly the
It's
point.
not like he took it out.
That's exactly what he's saying.
So he's saying,
He,
that's
he,
what I'm saying.
he created the light, and then he pushed the light aside. By pushing the light aside, he created he was mavdil the light from what? From what was created from the emptiness of light, which is the choshech. That's the separation.
Yeah,
Okay.
I guess the nuances between this was the or, and then he didn't do this. He did this. He separated them. He didn't take one out of the other. He literally, it says, it's two things, and he mavdil ben exactly equal b'shtem. That's what it says, yeah?
Yes, but where is the choshech? Where was the choshech? For him to be mavdil, if it was there, where was it?
It was like behind the light.
Well, no,
No.
it's the void of the light. It's the lack
void
of the light.
So
But it's-
as the light was voiding, the choshech was created. Okay, and this is vayavdel.
Why drink?
That's vayavdel, right? So now you have holding the or, and you have standing the or, and you have standing the choshech, right? Now he's putting back now everything together. How is he putting back together? Right now you have to put back the light because you had to take out the light to create the choshech, right? So now you have to put back into the system the light. Yes.
Mhm.
What?
That's what I said.
What? No, what?
No,
We'll get over it.
it's
Get over what?
No, the question is why wasn't?
But that's why. Why did that Kadosh Baruch Hu created the world round? Why not square? That's he decided it was round. Why didn't he didn't again? He didn't mix. He created the light. If he would have created the choshech at the same time as he created the light, in one next to the other, the choshech would not be the emptiness of light. It would be something in a choshech like the choshech he created in the beginning.
so if that's the case,
The fire.
The fire,
so,
right?
so let me ask you a question. If that's the case, why in Pasuk Hey it says Vayikra Elohim laor yom v'lachoshech kara layla
But you have to wait.
ve'erevei boker.
You have to wait until the Ramban says what he says, and then you can ask questions. You cannot ask questions on the Ramban before you know what the Ramban said.
I'm trying to figure this out. Okay.
No, first it's hard enough to understand what he's saying for you to ask questions on what he's saying, right? So first, do you understand the sequence of events according to the Ramban? Clearly or not?
Yes.
Do you have an answer to your question? That the reason why he didn't create them together at the same time separately, because that means that the choshech stands alone without the light.
And what would happen if it happened?
Then it's not. Then that's a different choshech. That's not an emptiness of light.
Okay.
No, you don't
But
understand.
Choshech, you're saying Choshech can't exist without.
Without.
Correct.
the light. Right. Exactly.
It's because there is light and you avoid the light that there is choshech. If you create choshech without the light, what?
No, I'm listening. I'm listening. I'm
The black
thinking.
fire.
No, it's not the black.
No,
It would be. It would be the black, like the black fire.
Really?
Okay, that means that now the light has no influence on the choshech, and choshech has no influence on the light. There are two creations that stand side by side. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, why did he decide like this? He decided like this, that there should be a choshech that is dependent on the void of the light.
By the way, he just gave you the answer. He just answered you gave before an answer that but that you just said because that's what he wanted to create, but you just gave him the answer. The answer is he created them as one because they're dependent on each other.
Yes, yes,
That's
yes,
you
yes.
said before he gives because
No,
that's
no,
what he wanted
no,
to create, like the earth. Is
No,
well.
I understood something else. Wait.
He was asking why
I
it was
thought you-
created as one. And that's
That's the answer.
Oh, you see?
See, we had to pull it out.
That's before Zach talks.
Huh.
When Zach starts asking questions, it's a different story. Okay, so now what happens? So what's the sequence? There's light, right? Now he dims the light, he voids the light. By voiding the light, darkness is created. Choshech is created. The choshech that we know, right? Now the choshech is there, right? It's a creation, right? Now he has to plug back the light. somewhere because he took it out, right? So he plugs it and connects it after the Choshech, because the Choshech is already there. So he gave them to each Agbala, like a midah. Midah is a portion, no, a portion, a measure, okay? And when the measure, the measure of the light was finished, then it has to be connected. And why is it finished? Because the light comes back. So they're connected, right? So that's how he explains Vayere Vayiboker. And that's also how he explains why there's no mini day.
Right, it's not separate.
It's not what?
It's not separate to be a mini day.
It's not, what do you mean it's not separated?
You're saying the light, there was a separation of the light and the.
That's the answer. That answers why it's not a mini day. Because if there was no separation, if it was day and then he brought the light.
It's a continuous flow.
No, he's saying
If
if,
it could-
if
if-
it was a continuous flow, it would have been in creation. He said it's not until you put it back together.
Then you just lost
I lost you.
Yeah, so this
I'm
is
telling you,
this is what it sounds like to me. I think this is right. So the first problem is, well, if Hashem created the light and then he separated out with the darkness first, then the light came, then the darkness, and then the light. That's a day and a half. So what Ramban is saying is when Hashem created the light, it wasn't out there. It's as if he created it in his pocket.
Correct.
There, but it's not in the world. It's not,
Correct.
It's not day yet or anything.
It's not applied. It's not applied.
Right. He took it out. He took the darkness out first, and then the light.
But how was the darkness created? That's when he took that light and put it in his pocket. That's when the darkness was created. Because again, the darkness at that point is what the void of the light. Now the darkness is there. Now he has to plug back the light. And why did he have to take out the light in the first place? Because if you don't take out the light, you cannot create the darkness that is dependent on the light.
Well, isn't it an easier explanation in Jewish or Jewish belief that a day starts from the night, right?
But why? That's the whole point. Why the Torah says Vayere Vayiboker? That's the whole
As
question.
opposed to Vayiboker Vay'er.
Yeah. Why the Torah says that? So that's the whole explanation. Vayere Vayiboker. Why?
It's what I said before, but you said that I'm wrong.
What did you say?
Because if they're mixed together, there's no Or and there's no Choshech as one. Let's assume that it's two things mixed together. He calls it Or. If he takes out though, now let's say there's a creation of the Choshech. So the first creation has nothing to do with the day thing because it's a mix of both of them. So the first creation, right? If you have oil and water created together, you take out the oil, you got left with the water, and then you put that, and then after that you have oil. So you have
That's the Ramban.
right. So you don't have a creation you don't have a day by.
You don't
By the
have.
mix.
That's the answer. That's the answer to the Mefarshim. That's
Right,
not the Mefarshim said something else. That's exactly what the Ramban says.
But there's no day issue there. There's no.
That's the answer of the Ramban. That's why there's no issues. That's exactly what the Ramban says. That's how he solves the problem of the. Huh?
I'll write a book.
That's why. That's how the Ramban solved the issue of the mini day.
You understand?
I think it solves another issue.
What?
But by the fact that Choshech depends on the light, for us as Jews, it's been part of our story.
Nachon. Well, that's already philosophical. Yes, there's a lot to learn from this in terms of Am Yisrael, that is the light versus the Choshech. Correct, but it's also applied to Yaakov and Esav, yeah, which is also light and Choshech. But so and I just want you have to have clarity here if you really want to understand.
You came for dessert?
Yeah.
Yeah, for the second study. Cheers.
You gotta get your chair. You think it's cool.
So so this again, the seder.
Right?
According to the Mefarshim, right? What was it? There was day that he created the light, and dimmed the light to night, and then brought back the day. Right?
So it's a day, night, day.
So day, night, and day. if that's the case, he says, well, you have a day and night, and then a day.
That's a day and a half.
That's the day and night is one day. Right?
When is the other day coming?
Exactly. So we're missing a mini day here. So he says, no, there was, like you say, there was a creation of the light. Then he took that light, put it in his pocket. Why did he have to put it in his pocket? Because by taking the light away from where he created it, he created the darkness that is dependent on the light, right? That lives off the void of the light. Now that this is in place, he can take the light again and plug it and allow it to rise when? After he gave the darkness a midah. He gave it a measure. He says, okay, now that the darkness is created, we're going to give it a measure. What's that measure? 12 hours. And now we're going to give it the day also the same measure. That's what he's going to say. ועוד ייתכן שנאמר כי מי שיצאו השמיים והארץ מן האפס, אלא יש הנזכר בפסוק הראשון, נהיה זמן. So here he says, and what he says, the time was created when? At the time of the Hiyuli. The moment the Hiyuli was created, meaning the first essence of physicality was created, the dimension of time also was created. Not the actual time. The dimension of time was created.
What does that mean? What's the difference in time and dimension of time?
If you apply it or not. You can have a dimension and not apply it. כי אף על פי שזמננו ברגעים ושעות, because he has an issue. Right? Even though, right, that the Zman is made of days and is made of nights, okay, and hours and minutes and seconds, she'em be'or u'bechoshech, and they are dependent on the or and the choshech, the day and night. Mishei yesh itapes b'zman. When there's a yesh, when there is an element of physicality by default, okay, there is also a potential of dimension of time. It depends on how that evolves, right? The traveling of, once you have space, you can have time. That doesn't mean you have time yet, but you can have time, right? So the moment the Hiyuli, the first physical element was created, the dimension of time also was created. I'm very careful when I say the dimension of time, because he's going to talk about time in a minute. That's completely contradicting. Like he says, like time is created in two different places, right? So the Mefarshim explain the Ramban that there is the dimension of time, the potential of time that's created when the moment physicality is created, and that's when the Hiyuli is created. But the time vector is applied, right? ויהי ערב ויהי בוקר. ואם כן נבראו שמיים והארץ, so the shamayim and aretz were created, ועמדו כן כמידת לילה, מבלי אור, right? So now because the or is not applied yet. The or was created, but it was taken back.
So
it was not applied.
When? In the beginning?
Yes, in the beginning. ואמר יהי אור, ויהי אור, וגזר עליו שיעמוד כמידת הראשון. Now it should be with the same midah, with the same measure as the first, which is what? Which is the לילה. ואחר כך ייעדר מן היסוד. And then it will dissipate, it will vanish. ויהי ערב ויהי בוקר. That's how he explains the ויהי ערב ויהי בוקר. Right? So again, he creates in Bereshit bara את השמיים ואת הארץ והארץ את התוהו ובוהו, the four elements. Good. Yehi or. I create the light. I take that light, I put it aside. Right? Now, what did I just create? I created the Choshech. Choshech upon what? Huh?
Yeah.
Choshech upon creation. That's applied. That's applied on creation, right? Now he says, I'm going to give it a midah. What's the midah? 12 hours. Okay. Now he takes the light and then and he says, if it's only 12 hours, what happened after 12 hours? The light that I created now kicks in, right? Because if there is no more choshech, and the choshech only exists because there's no light, if it ends after 12 hours, that means that the light has to kick in after 12 hours. So at that point, he applied the light to the system, and the light started to shine upon the shamayim va'aretz.
But is this a different explanation? Is this saying that?
No, that's his explanation.
The first Lila was before Yehi Or.
That's right. No.
It
No,
says here.
No. Mibli or.
No, it says, Im Kain Nivru Shamayim Ba'aretz Ve'amdu Kain Kmidat Laila. He
Yes.
created the Shemayim.
That's before. That's
and it was
before.
stood there for a period of time of the night.
Yeah.
And then Vayamar Yehi Or and said, all right, now I'm going to create the light, and you light be here for the same amount of time as
Correct.
darkness before.
Correct. So and
So
therefore.
the Erev was before the
Yeah, but again, that's cannot. No, the darkness. You cannot have again. You cannot have choshech before you created the light. It's not possible.
Mhm.
This you understand?
Yes.
Okay. So in terms of the creation, when he says ve'amar vayehi or, right? The pshat is that he applied in the creation of the yehi or. When was vayehi or? When did he actually? When is it shayach? When is it now plugged into the creation? When in the system? After the choshech. That's what he means. That you understand that there was a creation on that was not part of the mix of the ecosystem, and then when he says vayhi or, he plugged it back to the system. Vayhi erev, vayhi boker.
Now, conventional thinking would think that light is first, but it's not.
Min day,
I mean, day is first, yeah,
min day.
but it's not. Night is first.
Oh.
Because he said he had
there's
the
a
light,
different,
and then he took
there's
the
a
light
different
out,
issue
and he
here.
got-
I
and
thought
he
this
got
is,
the
I
night.
thought this is a different issue. Okay, but
Tell me.
I'm reading it differently.
Tell me.
What I'm reading this explanation is
Mhm.
the whole point of this.
where are you reading?
The paragraph with the.
Ve'od yitachon shenoma.
Which page?
Another pirush. You're saying it's another pirush. Yes.
The whole point here.
What is it?
The whole point here.
Ve'od yitachon shenoma.
What is-
Right.
35. 35.
לא ייתכן שנאמר.
Right. So the whole.
Yes.
כי מי שיצאו השמיים והארץ מן האפס אל היש יהיה זמן. That time started when.
The hiyuli was great.
Yes, man.
Right?
The hiyuli of Shammai Varetz.
So
Yes.
that's the beginning of time.
Yes.
And even though we think of time, our time, Zmanenu, is with the seconds and hours, that's tied to Or and Choshech.
Mm-hmm.
Here, time it predates that.
Mhm.
Time has to do with the creation of matter. So time, Lila, time is before that.
Mm-hmm.
And so therefore, Nivru Shamayim La'aretz,
Mm-hmm.
Ve'amdu Kain Kimidat Lila. Hashem created Shemayim and Aretz, and they will stay here for 12 hours for the
Mhm.
length of night
בלי אור.
without any or.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the first night was no or. Maybe in Choshech, maybe didn't. I don't know. But the first night was before the or was created.
מצד לילה, לא מצד חושך. מצד לילה. מצד the זמן of לילה.
Right. So
The-
the first line.
Not חושך.
Right. But by Erev Vayivoker,
You understand the difference?
the first Erev, there was no Choshech.
No, that's
It was
explaining.
before the
Correct.
Choshech.
Correct.
Then,
Because they
after
could.
that, there's no or, no Choshech. Then Hashem creates the or and says, now you
מצד the זמן, you're right.
another 12 hours.
From the zman, you're right. Not from the creation of choshech. In terms of the time of the zman of Laila, the zman of Laila, you're 100% right.
But the first day was Erev and Boker.
No,
Right?
yes.
When there was Erev came first, did the light exist yet?
No.
It wasn't created yet.
But they're not the choshech, not the choshech neither. Okay,
There was
Laila.
half the
Okay,
day of
yes,
Laila.
yes, I agree. I
And then-
agree.
And then half the day of Yom with the or, and then he said, okay, well, that half the day is over.
No, no. מבלי, the Erev only. You're right until the Erev.
The Erev was no or and no Choshech.
No choshech.
Then Hashem, halfway through the day,
Yes.
Hashem created or. and said,
Good,
the second
good,
half of the day,
good,
this is the time of the or.
good, good. I agree.
And then.
But
and then
you-
the second
originally
day,
you were-
Choshech starts.
Yes,
Choshech starts the
yes,
second.
yes. I agree. I agree. At that point, you differentiated. But no, originally you said choshech and or. So that yes, but because now he's addressing zman, not
Right.
choshech and or.
Right.
In terms of zman, you have Laila and Yom.
Right.
I agree.
So Lila can exist without the Choshech.
Because Laila is a time. It's a time. That doesn't mean that when you say that we say Laila means night. But in this case, it doesn't mean day, it doesn't mean light, doesn't mean darkness. It means Laila. You're right. And that's how he explains the concept of Zman, even though there was no asters yet. Because if there's no sun, there's no moon, right? So how can there be day and night, right? So he and the Zman, right? So he explains that's how he explains Vayere Vayiboker without the constellations by saying that was a Zman of Laila and a Zman of Yom without Choshech and Or. But the Choshech is created after the Or, for sure.
But it says here, "Vayikra Elohim la'or yom ve'lachoshech
That's
ba'alayla."
after. That's after.
After what?
We're before that right now. You're jumping. We're
No, but I
before.
don't-
We're in Pasuk Dalet. You're in
I got
Pasuk.
to explain to you what Zach's issue was in English.
Zach is saying is something. No, he's saying like, no. Listen, oh.
No, I'm saying.
There's two inyanim. There's the Ramban addresses two things. He addresses first the choshech versus the or, darkness versus light. Okay, that's what we've addressed until now. Yes. Odi tachen. Now he's addressing the zman, time. Saying what? Saying that you can have Laila and you can have Yom, okay, which are dimensions of time without the application of darkness and light. And why is that a hidush? Because there is still not a constellation of asters. There's not a system in place. So if there's no system in place, how can there be time? So he says time is not dependent on an astrological system. It's dependent on physical element. The moment a physical element was created, the dimension of time was created, right? So comes back and explains. He said it's not just a dimension of time that was created, and you will see why I said dimension, but maybe because I have a cheat sheet and I know what the Ramban says. But take away the dimension of time. I tried to make it easy. He's saying time is created, and now from the moment the element of physical element is created, by default, if there is physical and space, there is time, right? It's obvious, right? So that's why I love it. So Zach comes and says that's what the Ramban says. He says time is created the moment the Hiyuli Bereshit the Hiyuli of Shamayim, the Hiyuli of Eretz, boom, time is created. Very good. The clock is starting to tick. What clock? What is called Laila. That's what, and that's Vayere Vayiboker. That's another pirush why there's no problem of Vayere Vayiboker. So one pirush of Vayere Vayiboker can be from a perspective of Choshech and Boker and light. Another perspective wants to shift it to Laila and Yom, which is two different portions of time without any reference yet to darkness and light. When will he apply darkness and night? When the Yom comes, the time of Yom comes, which means nothing at this point. It just means another half of that day, right? He creates the light, applies and applies the light to the creation, and then will dim the light after that 12 hours to give room to the choshech. So the nafkamina, the chidush that Zach is saying, which is emet, okay, for now. No, it's emet. I agree. No, the nafkamina is when you know is the choshech. No, is the choshech created, right? It applied to creation before the light or after the light. According to the first pirush of the Ramban, right? It's applied before the light.
Yeah.
According to the second pirush of the Ramban, it's applied after the light. That's the difference. I think we made it. Now it's Chazak Ubaruch.
Yeah.
I love him. Yeah.
Completely confused. Yeah.
But just so,
No, come on.
No.
no, but I just wanted to clarify. So you said the first Choshech then is the second day? That's what you say.
Correct.
right?
Exactly. Yes, exactly. There, meaning the first Erev, there was no Choshech. The second Erev, there was already Choshech. Correct. Exactly.
First Erev, there was no Choshech.
There was no Choshech because there was no Or.
Right.
Then during that day, or a light is created. Okay. Good. Then the second day starts with night. There's choshech at that
It's
point.
not 2 days created.
No, you're back
That's
to-
how you at that point you're in the second day. At that point you are in the second day.
That's actually the second day.
So
So it says, no, oh, wait.
Then why-
Vayhi Erev Yom Echad. No, what do you mean? Vayhi Erev Vayhi Boker.
that's because the Erev is the Laila without choshech.
The Erev is the
The
light.
Vayhi Erev Vayhi Boker Yom Echad.
Light,
It's
two different things.
correct. It's referring is a reference to the time, not to the choshech.
ויקרא לאור יום, ולחושך קרא לילה, ויהי ערב ויהי בוקר יום אחד. לא היה.
The only
Not the-
problem.
Not a problem. But yeah,
No,
the only problem.
the only problem, and that yeah, I love you. Okay,
Yeah.
because if what you say is true, then it shouldn't say by here. Actually, ויקרא אלוהים לאור יום ולחושך קרא לילה. How can he call the choshech laila if the choshech comes only the second day?
Good question, but there are different words here. Who says that Yom and Lila are the same as Boker and Erev?
Because he calls it choshech. I'm focusing on choshech right now.
חושך.
No, no, 1 second. Vayhi Erev Boker, we have to agree it's the first day. Don't come with another hidush.
No, but there's 6 words here, or Yom and Boker.
I'm asking you one question.
חושך.
According to what you're saying, choshech is the beginning of the second day, right?
Yes.
חושך is the beginning of the second day.
According to
But maybe
it exists potential.
No, but he separated. You separate the light and the dark. They both exist. The dark's time hasn't come yet, but by Abdel, when God separated them, He created both of them. It's just not dark's time yet. It's light's time first.
No, he's saying give them. According to this, he said the Koshech time first.
No, Erev, the night without darkness comes first.
The
Then
night,
Hashem creates light and separates it from the dark. So you have light and dark. Say, light, it's your turn first.
no, he
The
says
second
dark
day
is
is
your,
dark's turn.
no, he says dark is your thing first.
So the
Because the
night-
light is the combination of the light and the dark.
Put it in our pocket.
That was the first explanation.
No, we're in the second explanation, right? Right. So no, but I mean, do it. I like it. Let's keep it. It's good. It's good. It's a good. It's a very good explanation. Okay.
It's good enough for.
It's
temporary.
No. So there's no again. Let me summarize. So that Andy, if you don't follow, we're all good.
Give us
Don't
the
worry.
explanation.
We have Argentina with us. Again, according to the first, we're gonna give next time. Bring hardcore man. Yeah, you finished the bottle already.
That's why we're drinking. We can't understand the Rambam
Okay.
types of drinking.
All right. Yes, Corona. Lechaim.
אין טובים.
Bob, you're not drinking?
Okay. So again, can we make
No, I fall asleep otherwise. I gotta.
can we make seder? Let's make seder. Okay. First pirush of the Ramban.
לא, בסדר.
First pirush of the Ramban. Akadosh Baruch Hu decides to create, wants to create a darkness that is dependent on the light. Okay? To answer your question. Therefore, he creates the light first and takes the light and removes it in order to now create the choshech, the darkness that is dependent on the light, on the void of the light. Good?
Good.
Now the darkness is applied on creation. Okay, is on creation. He takes the light and he tells the darkness, you will have 12 hours. Now, what does he do with the light? After the end of 12 hours, since it's the end of the darkness that is dependent on the void of the light, if it ends, by default, the light has to kick in. So that creation that he put aside in order to give creation to the darkness, right? Now the light comes back. Vayhi Erev, Vayhi Boker, Yom Echad.
No problem.
That's good?
So Boker is light in this case.
Correct. Yes.
It's not day.
What?
Light.
It's both. Day and light.
So
But here
it says,
One has time.
no, hold on a second.
One is
One
time.
second. When it say,
Yes,
But
but
it's
it's
saying-
referring to the light. Yes.
no, but sorry. when you said Ve'erev Boker Yom Echad, he already applied the O and the Choshech to the time? That's
You what?
Ve'erev Ve'erev Boker Yom Echad.
Yes.
Is Erev, at that point, he applied,
At that point, there's
The
no
whole-
time. At that point, there's no time. The time starts with the 12 hours of night and the 12 hours of day, even though there was a creation before.
so, Mechila, Ve'hi Erev Ve'hi Boker Yom Echad.
Yes.
Is time created?
At that point, yes, 12 hours of night and 12 hours of day.
Beautiful. So Ve'hi Erev,
Yes.
that Erev, that 12 hours,
Yes.
was it Choshech in that 12 hours?
Yes.
And in the Or it was light.
Yes.
Okay, so that's what it says. Vayikra Elohim la'or yom, v'lachoshech kara. Okay, I don't know where yom and light are coming, but okay, whatever.
Good.
We'll get there.
That's the first explanation. Okay. Any question on that?
No.
Okay. The second
No, yes,
explanation.
I have it. No, one
I
second,
know, I
one
know,
second,
I
one second, Mechila. So when was time created?
We're gonna Vayhi Erev, Vayhi Boker. When he created the night, when he created the Choshech, and told the Choshech, you will be 12 hours. And he
Right.
told the light, the day you will 12 hours, that's when the
Okay, but I'm sorry, now I understand what you're saying. But you said that the Hiuli and all that.
that's a different, that's the second pirush. That's the second explanation.
So, Mechila, but which one is? So which one is Ramban follow? No, I'm not gonna say which one's right. What is Ramban follow?
The Rambam tells you that you can have, that's why I said there's he goes back and he addresses the dimension of time. Okay, but put the dimension of time aside. Okay, he says there's two ways you can learn it. One way you can learn it like this, another way you can learn it a different way. Okay, which one is right? Ask him. Okay, I don't know. But he gives you two pirushim. The second pirush that he brings is what Zach says. What does that mean? That HaKadosh Baruch Hu created Bereshit bara Elokim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz, la, 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 okay? And that is, it was not Laila. That means that until the moment he said Yehi Or, it was 12 hours. בראשית ברא אלוקים את השמיים ואת הארץ והארץ הייתה תוהו ובוהו וחושך על פני הים ורוח אלוהים מרחפת על פני המים, right? 12 hours goes by. And it's called Laila. At this point, there's no choshech because there's no or. Okay? Hashem creates
Is time.
time, the time of the night. Okay? Then he creates the light. Okay? He creates the light. And by a light that will also that will be applied to the day. Now, like Zach said, when he created the light, he already differentiated, okay, between the light and the darkness. How did he differentiate it? That when there is light, there's no darkness, and when there's darkness, there's no light. That's the differentiation, right? And he applied the light on the day for the next 12 hours, right? And he said the light you will be during the day only. So after 12 hours, at the end of the day, right, the light had to disappear because it's now dependent on the day. So at the end of the 12 hours of the day, which is at the end of the 24 hours of the first day, right, the light had to disappear, and it gave the place to darkness. So the darkness was actually
The second day.
was created the first day because it's the emptiness of the light, but it was manifested on the second day.
Okay.
These are the two pirushim of the Ramban.
Okay. So do we agree at least here that these two Perushim are mutually exclusive? Both of them can exist, right? I mean, I know we talk about, I'm just asking a question. This is, you can one time tell me, yes, they can't both exist. I'm asking, there's two completely contradicting explanations, and not even by two Mefarshim, by the same.
So what do you want to say? Sandra, what do you want to say?
Why is Ramban not giving us?
Because he doesn't have that. He gives you. He says they're both true. They can both be real. And I don't. And he says that who am I to exclude something that can be? So he gives you the both people. And every time you're gonna.
No, but I'm trying. No, I'm asking a different question.
I know you're asking the same question.
No, I'm asking. I understand if.
Which one is right? What's true?
No, I'm saying he's giving you two pirushim.
He's saying that both of them can live. Now,
But
Yes.
they can't live together, right?
No, he's not saying they live together. He says the odd ifsham, meaning it's
Another
or this
explanation.
or that. He says they both can
Both make sense, yes.
make sense.
Okay.
ויקרא אלוהים לאור יום. Right? So when he called, when God called the or day, יאמר כי נברא הזמן. At this point, time is created. ועשה מידת יום ומידת לילה, and he gave to each day and night a measure of hours.
Okay.
Now, this is where it's a complete contradiction to the Perushes right before, right? Now, here, it doesn't give you two Pirushim and tell you there's another explanation for the Zman. So when was the Zman created? Was the Zman created at the time of the Hiyuli? Or was the time, or was time created when he said that it should be there? Yes.
Mechila, I'll see you later. I'll continue later.
Okay.
Okay? Just
I'm
wanna say
sorry.
bye. No,
I hope I didn't
please,
ruin your
please.
evening.
Don't worry. No, please. My pleasure. I'll continue later.
Yeah,
Love
well,
you.
That
All the
actually
best.
doesn't contradict. Because this Vayehi Erev could be the first 12 hours when the Hiyuli and all that was created.
ויקרא אלוהים לאור יום. When did he call it Yom?
When did he call it Yom?
Now. At the end, because the or was already created. Right?
No, the question why it didn't say Kodem Lechoshech Kara Laila V'achei Ze Lo Kayam.
That's not a question. I'll tell you why. Because the or was created before the Choshech.
Unless, no,
Yes.
was.
The or, the light was created before Choshech.
So what were we talking about the second explanation? What was
Erev and Yom is different. Right? So, Zach, you understand why there's a problem with your Pirush?
for now?
No, because here he doesn't. He's obviously like, there's a frontal contradiction. Mineu be one sentence after the other. When was this man created? Was this man created at the time of the creation of the Hiyuli, or was this man created when he says that that light should be the day, at the creation of light? So the answer is that when he says that when the moment there was the Hiyuli, there was the Zman, right? Itapes boazman. What does it mean? Itapes boazman. The Zman will be held. The Amen. The Zman, the dimension of time was put in place. But when was it applied formally and organized with hours and minutes? No.
It had no limits, basically, and then.
Correct.
then
Correct. That's why when he means ve'ha'aretz ve'amdu ken b'midat laila, it's not a laila of zman. This is why the pshat that we said doesn't
Which
really
pshat?
fit.
Which part?
The second pshat that we gave.
It was good for it. It was a 7-minute.
Hi. Right. Okay. Ve'inyan vayikra. Okay. Ve'inyan vayikra. And when he says vayikra, what does it mean vayikra? Mipnei she'ha'adam kara hashemot. Since we know that who called everything? It's man. Adam HaRishon, right?
Yeah.
אמר באלו שנעשו קודם היותו כי האלוהים קרא להם שמות. Right? In this case, he says vayikra to tell us that who gave the name Or, who gave the name Choshech, Yom, Laila, Yamim, who gave those 5 names? הקדוש ברוך הוא בכבודו ובעצמו. וזה דעת רבי אברהם. Right? That's... והנכון שעניין קריאה באלו, בכאן היא ההבדלה המוגבלת בהם כשלבשו צורתם. ויקרא, it's the limitation of the creation once they received their structure. They were formed and consolidated. כך אמרו יום יהא תחומך ולילה יהא תחומך. Yom, you will have your tchum, you will have your dimension, your space, and Laila, you will have your space. Vayikra is Wigbili called by calling by giving it a name, he defined it and limited it. When you give a name to someone, you identify that person and you exclude that person from the rest of the mass. As long as there's no name, there's no name. You're part of the klal, right? The moment I know you by your name, I've identified you and I've excluded you from what is called the klal. That's Vayikra. That's what the Rambam says. Vayikra. Vayerev vayiboker yom echad. היה ערב והיה בוקר של יום אחד, ויקרא תחילת הלילה ערב, and he called the beginning of the night ערב, בעבור שהתערבו בו הצורות. Why did he call it ערב? מלשון ערבוב, mix, right? Because all the צורות were mixed. ותחילת היום, and why did he call it the beginning of the day בוקר? שיבקר האדם בנותם, the man can come and separate and differentiate and identify them. כך פירש רבי אברהם, כן? ועל דרך הפשט, and the פשט is, לא ייתכן לומר יום ראשון. Why did the Torah say יום אחד and not יום ראשון? She said יום ראשון.
Because there's no other days, yeah.
Yeah, ברור, כשעדיין לא היה יום שני, there was still not the second day. You can only see first if there's second. There's no, yeah. כי הראשון קודם לשני בעניין ובמעלה. אבל שניהם נמצאים, they're both here. והאחד לא יורה על שני. But when you say one, it doesn't mean one doesn't mean there's two.
But why does he keep picking out the Ibn Ezra? What's
No, he said in the introduction. He already, he said that he's always going to.
why specifically him?
Ibn Ezra was a Kodesh Kodashim. He has first of all, his Pirush is extremely scientific of the Ibn Ezra. Very scientific, and he was one of the Gedolei Ador, one of the biggest.
So they're contemporaries?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, it's before the Ibn Ezra is before. The Ibn Ezra is interesting. He had a very bad mazal. Very bad mazal. He said that if men would be created without a head, Hashem would have created him with a head. That's how unlucky he was. Everything he touched would turn catastrophic. The Ibn Ezra.
Really?
Yeah. He has a lot of and so his pirushim that he wrote was pirushim that came out of tremendous pain and controversy. He built his emunah from the way he expresses it, one of the most difficult life someone can ever experience. So, and his pirush is listen, right? Like not like Eov, because Eov was it, but as something bad, something very difficult like that. And he was a giant. So
One question. It says Vayikra Elohim la'or yom v'lachoshech ha'layla. Talk
Yes.
about definition.
Yeah.
That or as we know it and choshech as we know it, choshech is not only Laila, right? There is choshech.
no, in
darkness.
this concept, in this creation,
But
he called the choshech, he called it Laila. He referred it to Laila.
did he call it Laila or did he apply to the Laila choshech? Because choshech can be applied to different things,
no,
right? You can have choshech in your apartment and turn a light on and you have all the
yes,
choshech.
that's not, yes, correct. He's talking about the choshech that he created in reference to the Zman of Laila and the Zman of Yom, right? The Zman, before he gave them a name, right? So he applied the Or for the day, he applied the darkness for the night, but called that time day and that time night. Right? So he applied it in the Zman, but he had to give a name to that Zman. Right? So to the Zman of Choshech, he called Laila, and to the Zman of Or, he called it Yom, Boker, at the beginning of it. Right?
Yom.
Yom, yes, Yom. And he called the beginning of the Yom Boker.
It sounds like here's in the end, the Nachon Inyan Kriya is,
Where are you?
we were just reading on the bottom of 36.
Yeah.
Nachon Inyan Kriya, you have Dalah HaMurbelet. So it's not calling them, it's basically
Nachon
it.
Applying. Yeah, no, we said that. It's an agdara. It's yeah, like we said, it's a definition. When you define, right, you separate it from the klal, right? It's an agbalah. Right? So they were complete, they were created, and he gave it, he called them, he defined them. He said, this by giving them a name, he defined their tzura to hold and stay the way they are. ויש מפרשים כי זה רמז לתנועת הגלגל על פני כל הארץ ב-24 שעות. And some מפרשים want to say that that's now the astronomical, the cycle of the galgalim of the 24 hours. שכל רגע מהם בוקר במקומות משתנים. Because there's boker at every time there's boker somewhere else in the world. וערב במקומות שכנגדם, and across it you have night. ואם כן ירמוז לאשר יהיה ברקיע אחרי הינתן המאורות ברקיע השמיים. So he's already addressing the fact that there are asters, right, and planets that circulate. When he says vayireh vayiboker, he's already he put in place a system, right? Because there's time and it depended on that. So a system was placed. He didn't finish it and he didn't apply it fully, right? But it was already set.
But at what point?
What?
At what point was it set?
Vayireh vayiboker. That's what he said. Yes, mefarshim. Vayireh vayiboker. What does that mean? That he put the astrological system, yeah, the asters in place for the now the planet, the sun and the moon to circulate around the earth. Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah, yes, mefarshim. He said that want to say that's what it means. And if that's the case, that means that the asters were already set to circulate around the planet. Be'ezrat Hashem, yeah. Yes. I'm going to say any questions because
But they're all
He goes
timed
down the
down.
block.
They're all timed down to
He
the
goes down the block.
what?